The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Good evening and welcome to Today on One. I'm Isai Sipunga. In the news tonight, striking fishermen demand permanent employment. Omaruru residents bemoans condition of the town's cemeteries. Tala Namibia Online Film Festival concludes. Empowering the youth through blogging. And Roundup, Comments Corner, Business on One, Sports and Weather. Now for the news in detail. Striking fishermen, supported by the affirmative repositioning movement at Walfish Bay, recently marched to the offices of Kavema Fishing, where they have demanded that the fishing company guarantee their permanent employment as allegedly instructed through a government directive from the former Fisheries Minister, Albert Kawana. Joseph Ilonga has this report.
The affirmative repositioning movement in Walfish Bay was present to represent the striking fishermen on the employment matters related to Kavema's fishing quotas, where they marched with the striking fishermen to the offices of Kavema Fishing to hand over a petition to the management of the company. Shop steward Samuel Kondo read out the petition on behalf of the fishermen.
The above quota allocation was for purpose of ensuring permanent employment of the 645 fishermen who lost their employment. We have it on record that the fishermen were only presented with fixed-term contracts, which only makes provision for a monthly salary of 3,970 with no benefits such as medical, house allowance, etc., and is contradictory to the letter stated above and the government directive. Despite multiple inquiries, letters written and meetings held, the fishermen remain in the dark about their permanent employment.
The striking fishermen demanded for a response not later than the 8th of June 2021, or they will approach legal practitioners and the High Court for a permanent solution. The petition was received by the director of Kavema Fishing, Robert Shimoshili.
There is a lot of discrepancies, errors, mistakes on the content and understanding in general. And of course, through your representative, we will give you a call in a shortest time of period, probably by tomorrow. We come around the table. Equally, we inform the public about what you have been raised. In those short words, I wish you all the best. And of course, we feel pity to you as people who was on losing employment. And of course, the idea is to look after you. Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, another petition was also read to the chairman of the Namibia Fishermen United Association, Matthew Lungameni, calling for his removal from the NFUA and Walfish Bay and Ludret's Fishing Company with immediate effect.
We make reference to the legal entities Namibia Fishermen United Association and the Walfish Bay and Ludret's Fishing Pty Ltd, which are registered with funds contributed by the fishermen. It is our instruction that we receive the following no later than 8th of June 2021 before closure of business. Official stepping down of all directors from the Namibia Fishermen United Association and Walfish Bay and Ludret's Fishermen Pty Ltd with immediate effect. All bank statements of Namibia Fishermen United Association and the Walfish Bay and Ludret's Fishing Pty Ltd to be handed over to the newly elected committee with immediate effect. Handing over of the office keys, documents and properties of Namibia Fishermen United Association and Walfish Bay and Ludret's Fishing Pty Ltd to the newly elected committee with immediate effect. Should we not receive any response on the 8th of June 2021 before closure of business, the fishermen will approach legal practitioners and High Court to be enforced the above. Hasta la victoria siempre.
Matthew Lungameni, the chairman of NFUA and Walfish Bay and Ludres Fishing, responded to the call for his immediate removal.
During our struggle striking for 6 to 5 years, we trying to looking a help to another stakeholder, any in the countries. AR respond to us that we are in illegal strike. They never come to assist us. Then we call all of the political parties, including the ruling party SWAPO. Nobody come to us. To the end, we heard today, you give the mandate to AR. It's you personally, but it's not the association. Take note, association have a right and the constitution. Which can the director can re-elect after 5 years. If you don't know, go and ask the constitution of the association. Then you have to repeat 3 times so that you have to know what is in the futures. And although if you approach the court of law, there's nobody above the law.
Close to 700 fishermen have been left jobless for more than 5 years, which prompted the former Fisheries Minister, Albert Kawana, on the 24th of July 2020 to write a letter calling for fishing quotas to be allocated for the purpose of securing employment of many fishermen in the fishing industry.
My brother, if she say no, she means no. Let's speak out against gender-based violence. Together, we can make Namibia a safer place for everyone. My Namibia, my country, my pride.
Residents of Omaruru have called out the town's lack of interest to clean up its cemeteries, which they say are dilapidated and are overgrown with weed. The residents have approached the town's municipality numerous times to have the town's cemeteries cleaned up, but no interest was shown from the municipality side. Selma Tapopi has more.
The residents say with no support or assistance from the town's municipality, and with many of them having recently been retrenched from their jobs, they have now turned to cleaning the town's cemeteries every Saturday, which they say the municipality has disregarded.
Since from 1st of May is when we started with these initiatives. I'm telling you, until today, some of the rubbish is still there. And it's a bit, it's a windy. They are not providing anything. Even to collect the rubbish that we had cleaned, it's also a problem. I have to go offices to offices for them to go and clean it. Go and collect the rubbish. Because this is their mandate. Their mandate is a local authority's mandate to clean up the cemetery. But we thought of no, because if we just relax and then leave everything, the municipality they don't really care, because there's no work. Many people have been retrenched, and many people they lost their jobs, and then because of that, we could not say we have to. There's the main employment the main employer in Omaruru is a municipality, and the municipality cannot take everyone. So we have thought that if we start doing something for ourselves, now as a community, now if we start doing something, and then other people maybe see that, there will be a boost in employment. For someone to be grabbed by somebody. Actually, we are really struggling because a community, you don't know, you cannot call someone to come work for free. It's a bit challenging because we thought of, we are even giving a meal after the cleaning, but it's in that the responding is very low. People are not coming, people are not participating in the cleaning. And I can't blame them. People are not really coming or contributing that much. We have few people that had really contributed, especially the lodges. We have three lodges that had really contributed.
With the town's municipality showing no interest in maintaining the cemeteries, residents are now appealing for support with cleaning equipment to assist with cleaning the 4 cemeteries. The town's municipality was not available for comment on the matter at the time of this broadcast.
Yeah. Amage moro dikodo. Kaima to ridang homadikta sahan anu habasa igya. Season is that season one was the tourist to right to hit was o kaima batik ka saga di koin iya ne aroma ben saga di na ga songwa kai ke ba ko tire wada du kaima re season mas ko ko mana kaima i da ko batik ka sa anu hare sada di koina tara ki ko ge du to kaima re sada kamaran house ko do ko kamaran house dis na da ge thau ku sara di kaima tu le to ko ba i da khiti ha anu ko batik ka sa
abe tumba shavi apo mumuna viko vantu vetu mbambe ke kuraramba mamuve mu ete chitwa sekamo kuza kolonganda kwetu ne osharisha muhona osharishwa sekameno kuno vantu vetu mbeya kuti wekuvesa mbararamba pandumbo mbetu yamo mautuku no mitenya chituka kokuteka mali mbetu yama chiverimbani pakotusekame tieke ku yamova kwetumba omunicipality tekaino shila nukuyevatira ndumba ka onje sekamene pongandama konamba peno mihoko vyetu mbiara ovatena vetu verimbo unacho weturim komunal mal op kushandi uhingirenge rak vatertal project stand up kunjete kuskon mako vantu vetu.
New Nivea Black and White Deo protects me and my favorite outfit. That's why I feel confident and free. With 5 times Deo Action formula, I stay fresh and protected for 48 hours. And my clothes stay stain-free. Try SA's #1 anti-stain Deo.
Tala Namibia, an online film festival, has come to an end as they have successfully hosted an 11-day online film festival which gave local audio and visual creatives a chance to showcase their work. Hendrina Kanyola has this report.
The online festival featured diverse local content by Namibians and for Namibians while showcasing diverse cultures, beauty and creative talents from all over our nation's corners. In commemoration of 31 years of independence, Tala Namibia Online Film Festival successfully afforded creative practitioners the opportunity to begin recovery from the struggle to exhibit and distribute their works due to various pandemic-related issues by availing a platform that is free of charge and dedicated to accessibility. So when Tala Streaming launched the festival, we mentioned that it alludes to what the future holds for film in Namibia and the rest of the world. Our goal was, and still is, to create a platform that offers solutions to the challenges of and to aid in digital transformation, monetizing of content, audience development, build a Namibian brand and ID, and create a future-facing solution for our Namibian film industry. In a span of 11 days, the Tala Namibia Film Festival have engaged over 10,000 Namibians through the streaming platform.
The chairperson of the National Arts Council, Patrick Sem, said that Tala Namibia is a great initiator for the local creatives, adding that if Namibians want to grow their economic sector, one should try things that never existed.
I think if you have heard me say one quote over the last 5 years as a chairperson, it's been, if we want things that we have never had, we have to do things that we have never done. Right? And then some of you must just hear the thing and then you go home and then, we forget about it and then we wake up tomorrow and we do the same things we've done for the last 10,000 years. Even though the economy is changing. So I think one thing you guys have done, you've given birth. The thing is by its own now. It's still a baby, so we still have to take care of it. It takes all of us as a village to raise this child called Tala. He features online. He's many personalities. There's many characters, many sides, real life stories. There's many things. So I think from the deepest part of my heart, it brings great joy when you see young people take charge of their destinies. That it's not in somebody else's hand, but it's also to the benefit of a whole nation. A month ago, did Tala exist? Today, does it exist? The world's future economies depends on this. So if you're going to talk about, we don't know how to grow our economy. You cannot grow on things that already existed before. You have to prioritize expenditure, particularly public investment and private investment, into things that never existed. This is what the world's top economists are saying. So Tala, if you're a private equity guy, find your derivatives to invest here. But this is what's been proven. The future lies in things that never existed.
In the same vein, Tala Namibia awarded the lucky audience who had the most hours of viewing during the Tala Online Festival with 10,000 Namibian dollars, and the overall winner of the most favored local content produced with a whopping 30,000 Namibian dollars.
Before the festival commenced, I didn't really know that there were so many Namibian content out there. So I've only known of a few. I have a friend of mine who's a producer, Gustav Nyoma. He has done some, so yeah, he has done some work, and then I've always watched some of his work and so forth. So yeah, during the festival, I really got to enjoy most of the films that I got the chance to watch, and I would like to single out this sound that really made me laugh, some gave me joy, some gave me tears. Yeah, like this. I watched the film, is it Salute?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I was watching that film, it really gave me a lot of emotional breakdown. Just to see what people go through when they go behind bars and all these sort of things.
I promised a couple of people a lot of things, so sure. So I'm actually glad that I've won. Now let's go back to the main reason, my Namibia. I have 2 music videos. I wanted to put my current music video. It's titled Power, and then I was like, okay, but this is Tala Namibia. Like, how are the rest of Namibians going to relate to it? So that's how I decided that, okay, let me just put my Namibia, because it's something which everyone can relate to. I hope. Did you watch the video? Yeah. So from the lyrics and from everything, I just wanted to make sure that this is speaking to each and every Namibian out there. So it's really important, and I feel like it's an honor for this music video to finally receive the recognition.
Hey, this is Script, and you can catch me on One Africa TV on Sundays at 8 p.m. as we chat to Namibian changemakers, innovators, entrepreneurs, and doers who are changing the game. 99 FM Game Changers is supported by Paratus. Limiting potential is not an option. Think big.
The blog 4SDGs is a space to tell unique African stories about the Sustainable Development Goals in different African countries. The blog allows different communities to discuss and find solutions to problems on an international scale. This report from Leston Voller.
100% sustainable development goals, and talking about sustainable, talking about SDGs, I mean gender equality, employability issues, climate change, health issues, reproductive health, all these issues are part of the sustainable development goals. Urbanization, for example, so it's quite broad enough so that everyone can have a bit of space into what we are doing.
Blog for SDGs was launched in late 2021 with the aim to tell African stories and be a beacon of hope for many issues that people face daily.
So the blog for SDGs, it came out end of last year, end of 2020, I was talking with some friend of mine, and one has expertise on writing and blogging. So then we came up, we found this combination of blogging and sustainable development goals interesting, because it is one way of telling the story of African people and telling our own story from our own perspective. Because most of the time, you see, there are different local NGOs with few or actually no resources to communicate around what they are doing. So we decided, we set down a blog where we give visibility to these local organizations so that they can be seen and they can inspire other people with the work they are doing.
The co-founder for Blogs for SDGs added that the blog is planning on starting a podcast in different native languages to curb the language barrier faced by many African countries.
So I wanted to mention that in addition to writing, we're also planning to go into podcasting, because across the continent, whether it is Namibia or other African countries, we have our local languages that are well spoken but hardly, written. Because most people are not educated in these languages. So we want to, start podcasting in these languages so that we can reach out to everyone. Because in this, this decade of action, the target is to leave no one behind. But if we don't want to leave people behind, we want to make sure that they have the information regarding the SDGs, that they know what it is about, and they also know what is happening around them in their communities. The more they know, the more inspired they get into taking actions and support the achievement of the SDGs by themselves, because everyone needs to contribute.
The Blog for SDGs usually hosts blogging workshops and how to become contributors to the blog to people from all walks of life.
Hello Namibia, we are in this fight against COVID-19 together. Ons is saam. I chose to get the COVID-19 vaccine as soon as it was available, because as a nurse, the lives of my patients, family and the community are so important to me. Taking the vaccine gives us a stronger chance to beat COVID-19 together.
Learn more about the vaccine. Make an informed decision. Choose to vaccinate. Protect tomorrow.
In other leading stories, the board of the Namibia Statistics Agency has announced the reappointment of Mr. Alex Shemuafeni as Statistician General and CEO of the Namibia Statistics Agency for an additional 5-year term, effective from the 1st of April 2021 until the 31st of March 2026. This decision has been done in close consultation with the Director General of the National Planning Commission and has been endorsed by the Cabinet of the Republic of Namibia. In a media statement, the NSA noted that there are various factors that the NSA board considered before making the decision, which included the statistical production and dissemination, which is the core mandate of the NSA, as well as the financial management of the agency. And children remain the most vulnerable in our community, and disruptions in societies such as COVID-19, unemployment or underdevelopment have a heavy impact on the well-being, safety and future of children. It is for this reason that Capricorn Group partnered with Imago Day to give back to the community of Havana at the Prayer House of God Ministries, helping orphans and vulnerable children by donating winter blankets, books, toys, candy and other necessities. In their role as change makers, a group of volunteering employees of Capricorn Group spent time with over 70 orphans and vulnerable children at the center, serving meals, painting the playground jungle gym, wooden doors and steel pipes. The project, which has been in operation for 14 years, runs an orphanage that caters for 19 orphans and vulnerable children, a pre-primary education center and a soup kitchen that caters for over 70 children in the area. Amongst the children living in the orphanage are disabled children who receive special care. There is still much work that can be done at Prayer House of God Ministries Children's Center. Basic water and hygiene facilities remain out of reach, and the center hopes to acquire a water tank to bring water closer to the children.
Winter is here. Let's warm you up by giving you a chance to win one of 12 gas heaters and accessories, or a grand prize of 50,000 Namibian dollars. To enter the Winter Warmers competition, simply buy any combination of 2 or more of the following participating brands: Baker's, 5 Roses, Fresh Pack, Frisco, or Hug in a Mug, and SMS WINTER to 445. And remember to keep your till slip as proof of purchase. Promotions run from the 1st of May to the 31st of July. For more information and entry details, visit 99fm.com.na. T's and C's apply.
Joseph Shifeni is standing by for today's Business on One and economic indicators.
Welcome to Business on One. I'm Joseph Shifeni. The first round of the fishing quota auction that took place in April this year for 15,900 metric tons of wet and freezer hake has brought in nearly $190 million. The Ministry of Finance, which is managing the process in collaboration with the Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources, described the outcome as a resounding success and a clear indication that auctioning is a good mechanism to facilitate price discovery in the sector. The fishing quotas were sold at an auction to the highest bidder with the aim of determining the correct value of Namibia's fishery resources, says the Chief Public Relations Officer at the Ministry of Finance.
The auction raised a total of 189.9 million Namibian dollars from the sale of 15,948 metric tons. And these figures include the 40,000 raised from the application fees. Of this fund, 183.9 million Namibian dollars have already been deposited into the state account at Bank of Namibia. The 6 million, we are still waiting for that 6 million. Arrangement has been made, so we are hoping that the company will be paying that 6 million this week. So the Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources consider the hake auction a success, as shown in improved prices from the reserve price of 6,000 to 11,745 for wet hake and 8,000 to 12,508 for freezer hake. Had this quota been disposed of at the reserve prices, the government would have raised only 102.3 million compared to the actual outcome of 189.9 million.
This is the second time that the government has embarked on a fishing quota auction. Shidudu said the overall demand at the auction was strong, with 38 bids received. However, only 23 were considered.
Although the first auction did not yield the desired outcome, the results that we are announcing today is a clear demonstration of government seriousness and commitment to support the country's socio-economic priorities, promote transparency, and ensure that Namibia fully benefits from her natural resources. We would like to thank fellow Namibians, the fishing sector, local and international players, as well as union members for support. We appeal to all these stakeholders to continue working closely with government for the country to realize her noble objectives.
On the 18th of June this year, government will have yet another auction, and this time around it will be for the horse mackerel fish species. And the Ministry of Finance says that the same auction principles will apply. Reporting for Today on One, I'm Joseph Shifeni. That's all we have for you. Join us again tomorrow for another edition of Business on One.
Are you a CMS member? With HospiCash 100, you can get up to 100,000 Namibian dollars cover with a 30,000 limit per event from as little as 100 Namibian dollars a month. We understand that being in hospital can be stressful. That is why with HospiCash 100, you can cover your non-medical expenses by receiving cash payouts when you are in hospital, so you can recover stress-free. Interested? SMS your name and HospiCash to 555 and we will call you back.
Now a look at Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from the hottest social media pages. As much as it's good that Samaritans are making efforts to support Hilia Kalume, there is a need for the mother who just recently gave birth to quintuplets to be spared being overwhelmed, as according to her social worker, she should be allowed to heal physically and mentally. Ngatu Pahe says it's sad, but sometimes people should remember that when a woman gives birth, that visits are only allowed after a certain period of time. Petrina agrees that in some cultures, babies are not allowed to be surrounded by many people for various reasons. Bridget says it can cause depression. Maria is urging members of the public to stop the visits as it's not safe for the mother and the babies. In the wake of President Hage Geingob and First Lady Monica Gengos testing positive for COVID-19, human rights activist Philia Nangolo is calling on national leaders like President Hage Geingob, Bernardus Swartboy, Job Amupanda and Dr. Panduleni Itula to get vaccinated for this deadly virus. NAM Rights, however, strongly applauds founding father of the Namibian nation, Dr. Sam Nujoma, NUDO President, Dr. Esther Mwinyangwe, and PDM President, Honorable McHenry Vanani, for getting their jabs and thereby having led by example. Sonia says people should not be forced to take the vaccine, noting that they should decide for themselves. Peter says it's good advice, adding that ignorance is not an option. Moody says the country should be locked down since people are still dying with or without money. Ali says he does not trust the vaccine and will not be forced to take it. While Ellie says people should be left to exercise their human rights by making their own decisions whether they want to be vaccinated or not. And that's all we have for you from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day only on Today on One.
Hello Namibia, we are in this fight against COVID-19 together. Ons is saam. I chose to get the COVID-19 vaccine as soon as it was available because as a nurse, the lives of my patients, family and the community are so important to me. Taking the vaccine gives us a stronger chance to beat COVID-19 together.
Learn more about the vaccine. Make an informed decision. Choose to vaccinate. Protect tomorrow.
Tyro Musiandaka is standing by with today's sports update.
Welcome to Sports on One. I'm Chairo Musiandaka. The Namibia Wheelchair Basketball Federation successfully hosted a basketball camp in the capital recently. The main objective of the camp was to develop the sport in the country and to provide the federation an opportunity to select a national team that will partake in the African qualifiers in Durban, South Africa, to represent Namibia at the Birmingham Commonwealth Games, which are set to take place in 2022. Let's cross over to Castro Lumbu, who has more on this story.
Joining the recently held wheelchair basketball camp, Today on One Sports Desk caught up with the president of the Namibia Wheelchair Basketball Federation, Pondo Nailenge, to highlight the importance of the camp.
This is very historic for Namibia because also for Wheelchair Basketball Africa, because we're one of the few countries to qualify, but also in Africa you don't really get a lot of active wheelchair basketball club federations. So seeming even to see with qualifying or the countries which qualify to the Paralympics, it's just one country, and how they do it is a bit complicated, but this adds weight again, similar to South Africa. So we're now on board again, and this is very historic, and this is very important, not only for Namibia, but for wheelchair basketball development in general in Africa. So yeah, we really appreciate this, but it's also an eye-opener to prepare them, to prepare them for the games in South Africa. So here it's more a lot of technical stuff, because wheelchair basketball is really more technical. Yeah, even when it's the coaching, it's classifications. They all have class numbers. There's a certain number of people to be on the floor at a certain time. Okay, so we also like to thank the DSN, Disability Sport Namibia, also our very good mother bodies like Namibian National Paralympic Committee, and other stakeholders which came on board to support us, especially also our national team coach is from UK, but he couldn't make it, even though we're doing it with him virtually, and it's really proved to be a success.
Despite having the opportunity to participate in the African qualifiers, Nailenge raised concerns over the lack of facilities that allow them to prepare for the qualifiers in South Africa.
The attendance in regards to the players, we couldn't unfortunately select everybody. Since it's 3-on-3, we're only going to select 5 or 4 players which will only go for the games, plus the team manager or the coach. Yeah, so we have 4 players from Windhoek, 5 from Oshana, and some from Ohangwena, and some the new ones couldn't make it because the ability and the skill wise. 3-on-3 is a real quick sport. It's more technical with the wheelchair moving, but it's also quick fitness wise. So with the females, we brought only the 4 females, some from Windhoek, some from the north. Yeah, these ones is to develop them, because they are potentially to be also competing in the near future. In the past, we never used indoor. For the first time, we're using indoor because internationally all games happen indoor. So as you see at our tires, those tires, they have worn out, most of them. And those tires are also expensive. The chairs are fine, but with the tires you can't do anything. We might have qualified, but we still need to secure those tires. When we're out there tirelessly trying to get those tires, solicit them somewhere. Yeah, but we have to get the tires, we have to get the team prepared for after this, at least by next month or the month after that, we have to get them prepared with another camp before they leave for SA, and of course smaller things like a national team gear, kit, and those small challenges. But more importantly, the equipment and then facilities, especially indoor. This was a great assistance that we could get these facilities.
The Wheelchair Basketball Africa qualifiers will take place from the 21st to the 24th of September 2021 in Durban, South Africa. The team selected for the qualifiers is as follows.
Well, that's all we have for you tonight. Join us again tomorrow for Sports on One, and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages. Back to you, Isai.
Thank you, Chiro, for that update. Time now for the weather forecast.
First, an advisory from the Windhoek Met Office. Very cold conditions are likely in the south, central and eastern regions tomorrow, so please do take the necessary precautions. The Namibia interior is sunny and very cold to mild in the south, central and eastern regions, elsewhere sunny and mild to warm. The coast partly cloudy and mild to warm, and the wind moderate to fresh southeasterly at first, becoming light southwesterly later. Now we look at minimum and maximum temperatures across the country and beyond.
And that brought us to the end of this evening's edition of Today on One. Join us again next time, and don't forget to watch the repeat at 21:30 this evening and the Omnibus on Saturdays. From me, Isai Sipunga, it's good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
I like rhinos. I like them very much. Future here in this area is depending on the tourism. The future generation, they can see and they can benefit from their own resources. Animals like rhinos, elephants, the big five, you benefit from them, and it must be respected. You are not feeding the rhinos, you are not giving them order, so it's a free business. I take two of my sons, which was little bit 5 years old. They were young guys. So they asked me questions. Why are we here? Why are we sleeping here? I told them this is our resources and this is our future. My first memory of going with my dad is that I learned new things. As I grow up as a man, I see an opportunity in it. So I decided to look for a job pertaining tourism. So that's when I was employed at Palembang. So I decided to go for tour guide studies because I grew up with the tourism industry, the wildlife, the rhinos and everything, to bring that experience to the tourists. You can see the hyena. The biggest changes, I was employed, getting paid, and also I can now support my family.
It's a cultural thing. It's coming a long way. Even if you go to area like Tweefontein, area was a lot of paintings. You will see rhino engravings on the rocks. That is an indication that the interaction between human, especially the local communities and wildlife, is dating back. That intimacy relationship is coming for a long time.
We are right here now at Palembang, and Palembang is one of the big lodges in the heart of the desert. And as you can see there is Jumbo standing behind me, which shows it's really a tourist area. We do have elephants, lions, but as you can see, the desert is the heart of the rhinos. This is the main breeding area of the rhinos, is what we found here in this desert.
It's the largest free-roaming population of black rhinos that you find outside national parks in the world. It's a population that communities in the northwest have taken responsibility themselves in managing this population with the structures that government has put in place, more specifically the establishment of conservancies.
These people, before independence, they took it upon themselves and decided that wildlife is our heritage, and through history we've been living with wildlife. And having wildlife in your area is like having a garden.
Because of all these animals, we've got the communities that benefit from all this wildlife, and it's like a triangle that fits into each other. And the communities looked after the wildlife doing their own thing, and the communities benefit.
So already there were this intergenerational relationship between mankind and wildlife, and that bond is what our people actually wanted to see continuing.
Very few countries have the wildlife that Namibia has. What is also important is the policies that Namibia has put in place, which also involves communities to be engaged in the management of the wildlife species and also to benefit from the wildlife resources.
Turn conservation into a rural economy, turn conservation into endless opportunities that would actually cater for those young people that have nothing else to do.
If it was not for rhino economy and tourism in this area, it was really difficult for young people to get or find a job.
We are conservation engineers. We make conservation work in an unfenced area, and through that, we want to turn the wildlife into the rural economy that will benefit the rural communities.
So we can see now wildlife is doing very well, the lodges are doing well, and the community is also benefiting. So it takes all three together.
Devastating hit over coronavirus fears. Airline industry is facing its biggest threat to travel since 9/11.
Since March, when COVID-19 hit Namibia, things actually become very difficult. In the first place, all the lodges closed down because of COVID-19. With us, say the Rhino Trust, we had some donors cutting on their funding. And then we had, in the same time, a poaching case of 2 rhinos that was poached. We had less boots on the ground, and poachers could actually see. Now it's our chance to go in and do something. So COVID-19 was tough on all of us. Ginger Morning, who is one of our trustees, actually came up with the idea of, why don't we ask you to go to buy some gold for us and make gold bars, and then we sell them for the rhino conservation.
I was fortunate enough to have a chance to have lunch with Clive Johnson, the CEO of B2 Gold in Vancouver, Canada. And I looked at Clive and I said, we've got rhinos, you've got gold, let's do something. Let's create a coin or a medallion or a bar using your resource to create a sustainable source of funding for rhino conservation for the future.
There was it. The gold was bought, the bars was made, and I think it was January, 31st of January that we launched the bars in Windhoek. And suddenly one morning I had an email from my office, from my finance person saying, these people don't have salaries. So I said, oh, what now? So I pick up my phone and I phoned Mark Doe. I said, Mark, I've got this problem. He said, but when we've got the fund already ready for you, you just have to apply, put a proposal in.
1,000 ounces of gold can make an enormous difference to the livelihoods of the communities that live up there. We are, in essence, providing income and providing a livelihood to the communities. In the absence of tourism, especially now with COVID-19, even prior to that, when we had such a bad drought, the communities became even more dependent on the natural economy.
The idea is to make this a fund that will last for the next 25, 30 years, or even longer. And a portion of that will be distributed immediately as needed. And in this case, the COVID-19 crisis necessitated us to distribute funds to pay salaries to help people in the field.
The proceeds of the sales from the gold bars will be going towards responsible NGOs. And we've identified Save the Rhino Trust as the key NGO. And IRDNC, one of the first organizations that was in the Northwest, integrated rural development and nature conservation, so that ultimately the funds go to the communities and various aspects of their war on poaching.
To be able to support those hardworking men and women that are always in the front line between the poachers and the rhinos.
If it was not for B2 Gold and the golden bars, I think by now we should have been in big trouble.
By extracting the gold, you reinvest it in other renewable resources.
The gold that's coming out from the ground is actually protecting the wildlife that's working on the ground, which is a very good symbol for the others.
I wish this was my bar. This is the 500 gram gold bar. So you'll see on this side you've got the Etindeka Mountains and you've got the mother rhino with her calf. And then on the reverse side we've got the serial number, you've got the Rand Refinery stamp, which is very important. Anywhere in the world people will recognize the stamp and they will know that this bar contains 99.99% gold.
It is gorgeous.
We wanted to make a biggest contribution. And at Ballowwood we see that as a way of giving back to the community.
Okay, so there you'll see the 500 gram bar.
Very special.
Feel the weight. It's incredible.
This opportunity which presented itself is absolutely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
We're privileged to have this.
This is just absolutely gorgeous, and I think this showcase really what the project is all about.
It's from 24 karat Namibian gold.
I'm looking at these rhinos is put there like Miss World photogenic, I would say.
There are only 1,000 of these gold bars, rhino gold bars, in circulation.
As far as I'm aware, it's the largest single donation of any corporate to the conservation of biodiversity anywhere in Africa.
Therefore, we so much appreciate and would want to continue as a government to work with B2 Gold.
And the fact that it's happening here in Namibia is something that we can all be extremely proud about and very grateful to B2 Gold.
Thanks to having this literal pot of gold through the funding for the Rhino Gold Bar, we're able to step in now and make sure that those trackers are supported, and so are their families and their communities.
We make sure that people sustain their jobs going forward, and who doesn't want gold?
And the B2 Gold Rhino Gold Bar has come in at a really critical time now, particularly with tourism being closed off and those forms of revenue not coming in.
To say we have the biggest rhino population or black rhino population in the world, let it be for the rest of our lives. And it's that heritage that we have, it's our resource that we can all look after and protect.
It's our heritage. And it's also good that other people like B2 Gold are also seeing it that way.
It's actually a very nice link between the investor that buys this gold bar, the rhino tracker in the northwest of Namibia, and the black rhinos. It's an intergenerational thing. The rhino trackers teach their children how to track rhinos, their children get taught, and so it flows down.
This is something that I want my children to have, and that we leave a little bit of a B2Gold legacy. And if I can be part of that as part of my family, I'd be very proud.
It can also become an inheritance for the generations of my own clan. My children, my grandchildren.
If we can bring that passion over to future generations and to hand that over to my children, and I hope that that same passion for conservation gets migrated over to my kids.
And what we've done together is create a sustainable source of funding that should outlive all of us.
You know, I think as far as B2Gold is concerned, we couldn't have chosen a better target in which to put our efforts as far as the environmental and conservation pillar is concerned. And I want to stress there that the money that's going towards environment and conservation is actually going towards the people.
Rhino is for all of us, whether you are in Canada, whether you are in Vancouver, whether you are in the US. If you really want to see conservation at play with rural communities, I therefore humbly request each and everyone to join us on our rhino tour and have a wonderful experience. This is what keeps rhinos on this planet.
I've done rhino trekking experience. It was just amazing walking in that landscape of the Kunene. And as we followed them, we could now find rhinos with the calf. We got the closest distance we could.
It's a warning sign.
And it was just amazing and lovely, something to experience that Namibia can offer. It's something that you have to do in your life.
Catch Namibia's rising talents displaying the best goals, breathtaking saves, like a 1-2 combination on the pitch, as well as the biggest misses. It's the MTC Hop Soul Youth League Soccer Show, showcasing Africa's next soccer superstars. Only on One Africa Television, every Wednesdays at 18:30. Aye, is Super Disc on another level.
In a time of uncertainty, false news, and fear, learn on. While the world scrambles to make new sense, while the experts turn around in circles, trying to find their way back to tomorrow, learn on. When classrooms become empty cathedrals and the trees start to bear answers, learn on. Learn on. Until every parent is a teacher and every teacher is a mentor. Learn on until you cross the boundaries of your mind, until you grow eyes and sprout wings. My friend, learn on sidewalks, on the floor, at the neighbors, in the market, in hallways, in churches, under trees, at kitchen tables, in riverbeds. Learning doesn't only happen between four walls. Learning happens in the small space of your enormous, beautiful mind. Start where you are. Use what you have. Learn on One. Invite learning in.